Hello and welcome to this video on Power BI. Do you know that the field parameter feature in Power BI is now generally available? At the time of recording this video, that is July 2025, the field parameter feature is already generally available from its previous preview status. And now is the best time to learn the field parameter to start applying in your projects and bring great flexibility and interactivity to your reports. As a starting point, I'm just having a simple table that is having a couple of columns in it. So they are English product name, first name, total sales, extended sales, and total quantity. Now, this total sales, extended sales, and extended total quantity are just simple measures. So I'm just displaying the measures against product name and first name. Now let's say that I want to make some changes to this. So the option is I go ahead and remove the measure from here, or I can add the measure from here, and so is the case for columns. But let's say this kind of a thing has to be done in multiple places. So that's where the challenge is going to be, because you will have to change this in multiple places. To be very precise, how many visuals are there consisting your column, all those visuals have to be changed. For example, your client gives a requirement that I don't want a product name here, instead I want the gender of the customer here. And let's say that you have this in say 5-6 visuals. Your change is going to be that you will have to make this kind of a change in 5-6 visuals. So how can you fast track this thing? So that's where field parameters come in. So field parameters give you great flexibility with respect to doing analysis and playing with your reports as well as the interaction standpoint is. How do you set up field parameters? To set up field parameters, go to modeling, click on the new parameter, and you'll get an option called as fields. So click on this. So this is going to open a pop-up where you can define how your parameter is going to be. In this case, I'm going to say that I will have a category selector as my parameter name. And what are all the columns that should be part? I'm going to say I want English product name and the first name column in my category. This is going to add a slicer to this page, as well as a new table is going to get added to the data section, the category selector, and this is the content of it. This slicer is a very simple slicer with just two values, English product name and first name. So how can I get this used in my table? And once it is used, what is the benefit that it is going to give us? So I'm just going to remove the existing category values from my table. Instead, add this new field parameter into it. Now you see that the same two columns are visible, but this time it is going to give us an option to just have one column displayed as our requirement. Now coming back to our same requirement, that we want to show first name and gender instead of product name. How can I do that? But before showing that, I will also show how you can add a new column to this field parameter. To add a new column, just copy this, add a comma, shift enter, then I'm going to change my name to gender. Here I'm going to change it to gender column, and this is going to be the order in which it is to be considered. I click on enter, and this is going to add one more value to this selector, and the same value gets automatically added to my table as well. Would this work with the matrix visual? Absolutely yes. So I change it to matrix visual, and it is going to show the same values, but this time, since the automatic functionality of matrix is to collapse the values, it is showing us this way. So I'll change the matrix type to a tabular layout, and then I'm going to repeat the row headers. I'll just expand the values to the base level. So now you see that this matrix is also looking very similar to our table visual, having the product name, first name and gender. Can I change the column names? Absolutely yes. You go to the parameter, change the name of the column as you wish. This is going to change both in the slicer as well as in the place wherever this field parameter is being used. Can I remove the columns from field parameter? Absolutely yes, you can remove it. But before that, I'll also show you how you can sort this. So I'm now changing my product to be the 0th column, gender to be the first column, and first name going to be the second column. So it is going to dynamically change in the slicer as well as how this is getting displayed. I'm using the June 2025 version. With any change that I'm doing in the field parameter, my matrix gets collapsed. But if you are using the July 2025, this is not going to be the case, because in July 2025, this matrix collapse and expand doesn't change with change in the field parameter values. Can we remove the columns from the field parameter? Again, it's a yes. So I'm going to remove the product column here. I'm just going to have first name and gender, and this time I'll change the sort order to 0 and 1. My first name is going to be the first column and gender is going to be the second column. Now that we have seen that our category is completely dynamic and flexible, can we do the same to the measure? Absolutely yes. This is the greatest power of field parameter. It makes it so dynamic that you can make the entire visual as dynamic as you wish. Now I am going to create one more field parameter, this time with the name of measure selector. I am going to have 3 columns in it: total quantity, total sales, and extended sales. All 3 are my measures. Now without much effort, which otherwise would have been a great effort, all my measures are now capable of being accessed as a column. Coming back to my matrix, I'm going to change my measures with the measure selector field parameter that I've created. By default, if all are selected or none is selected, all 3 measures are going to be displayed. Now if I want to display a certain measure, I just have to select that, and that measure is going to be displayed. Control select, and it's going to select the next measure as well. This control select is very specific to the Power BI desktop. If it comes to service, it's going to completely work normal, just like any slicer. You don't have to do a control select. You just can check your checkbox. Now you see the power of field parameters, right? So it makes it so dynamic that you can simply select whatever you want, and you can do all kinds of slicing and dicing to do your analysis. Would this, with both the category slicer and the measure slicer, work with the table? Absolutely yes. So your table works very similar to how it was working in the matrix. So with every change that you are doing here, your table is also going to be dynamically respond. Can this field parameters be used with other visuals like a bar chart or a line chart? Yes, I am going to add a clustered column chart here, and this clustered column chart is going to have the category selector as the x-axis and the measure selector as the y-axis. You see, right? It's very dynamic. So now we see all 3 quantities: total quantity, total sales, and extended sales as a measure value in the y-axis, and then my customer name is going to be shown in the x-axis. Now since my total quantity is very small as compared to total sales and extended sales, I just want to see my total quantity alone. I click on this, my table visual changes, my chart visual changes. Same is the case. I select on gender, both my table visual changes and my chart visual changes. So this field parameters, both when used with a category selector or when used to select the measures, is completely dynamic, and it changes the game for Power BI, which otherwise would have been a very difficult task to implement in such a short time. That's all in this video. If you have used field parameters in very exciting scenarios, I would like you to comment the same in the comment section of this video. Please like, comment and subscribe for more similar videos.